I'm a big fan of reliable, smart, and recycling never always did. We're okay. Yeah, we're okay. Good for you.
Don't forget.
So we all. Anyway, they're you would think the state. So the state basically needs to go.
That makes sense.
A meeting of Caddo Parish Commission regular session for May 18, 2023 at 3:30. It's called to order. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Hopkins. Here. Commissioner Johnson. Commissioner Jackson. Commissioner Young.
Here.
Commissioner Burrell.
Here.
Commissioner Jones. Commissioner Gage Watts. Commissioner Cochran.
Present.
Commissioner Atkins. Here. Commissioner Chavez.
Here, sir.
Commissioner Lazarus. And Commissioner Epperson.
Present.
I am counting 7 members present, which does constitute a quorum, though did I skip one?
I think it's 7.
Nope, that is correct. Sorry. Just wanted to make sure I counted up correctly. So that does constitute a quorum.
Okay, thank you. We have today for our invocation our illustrious pastor, Calvin Austin, and for the Pledge of Allegiance, we have Commissioner John Paul Young. Would you please stand?
I was told by John Settle, do not do the Baptist prayer. Don't make it a 10-minute, make it a 5-minute Methodist prayer.
So you may want to put one of those over.
I'm going to pray what the
John
Lord said to me. Father, we gather today inside this chamber, thanking you for your grace, thanking you for your mercy. And now, Father, as these men, women come together to discuss Caddo Parish, we ask your Father to give them the wisdom, the fortitude, the stand-upness to make our parish as better as they can make it be. Be with them in this business and transition session as we are looking forward to better days ahead for this parish. Thank you for our administrator who has given so entirely of his time and service, and these who own this commission who are doing the work, not for individualism but togetherness, and be with us now in this service, in this chamber. In Jesus' name, amen.
Please face the flag, render the appropriate salute for you. Please keep in mind our prisoners of war and those missing in action as we recite the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor Austin, and thank you, Commissioner John Paul Young. Mr. Clerk.
Yes, by the way, just for the record, we have had Commissioner Gage Watts join. That gives you an 8 out of 12. And I am not aware of any agenda additions other than if anybody has anything they'd like to add today. Okay. Seeing none, we'll move forward to citizens' comments. Where citizens who would like to address the commission are asked to fill out a comment card in the chamber foyer and return that to the president or the clerk of commission. Individual comments are limited to 3 minutes. And I did receive some comments that have been submitted to the president already. One comment appeared to be more appropriate for a public hearing that we'll have in a few moments. That's related to the noise ordinance, and so I did note that on the president's comment card. And then there were a number of other public comment cards as well.
Okay, thank you. We have citizen comment, and the first citizen to comment today is Mr. Scott Rousell.
Correct.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Scott Groundsel, Belrose Circle, 71106. We're a group of citizens that have come together to form a committee of safety for enforcing the Constitution and our unalienable rights. And this country was founded with a covenant with God, so we'll nothing against the, I'm sorry, he must have left. We always precede our meetings with a short prayer, so we're going to have that.
So, Father, we thank you that you are the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. We thank you for our parish commissioners. We ask that you would bless them, give them wisdom as they serve the people of Louisiana. Guide them in all of their endeavors. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
All right, normally when we have, just as
We, the
part of it-
sovereign-
Excuse me. Normally as part of our decorum, when we already have a prayer, we don't do a second prayer, but we just make that as part of this. I'm the president, I can make an exception, so
Thank
that's
you.
okay. I just need for you to know that.
May I
Go
proceed?
ahead. Yes, ma'am.
We, the sovereign people living on the land in Caddo Parish, Louisiana, a free and independent state, in order to live together in harmony under common law of the Almighty Creator,
Oh, I'm
to
sorry.
facilitate the avoidance.
Let me interrupt you again. Mr. Ransell had given his name. Each person that comes up needs to state it for our record.
Oh, I am Elizabeth Groundsel.
Okay.
So, in order to facilitate the avoidance of disputes, to facilitate the quick settlement of disputes which might arise, to provide for organized defense of life, liberty, and private property, to protect and administer public property for the benefit of the inhabitants, and to make certain limited agreements with other settlements of sovereign people for mutual benefit, ordain, common accord, and recognition of the following. So here on May the 18th of 2022 comes now inhabitants of Caddo Parish by absolute writ of habeas corpus and with absolute resolve rebuke all corporate authority.
Brenda
Okay,
O'Brock.
Ms. O'Brock, before you start, just to make sure of the decorum, all of these are on the same subject matter, so you have a
Yes.
total of 15 minutes.
Yes.
3 minutes has transpired, so you have 12 minutes for the rest of it.
Yes, thank you.
Courtesy for them.
Thank you. Brenda O'Brock gives this parish settlement announcement. Caddo Parish Settlement Covenant, and in harmony with all 64 parishes, we find Article 1. By Almighty God, granting us freedom. By unanimous decree, the local peoples and local peaceable lawful assembly and settlement covenant in Louisiana, a free and independent state, a member with other free and independent states, also known as Republic for the United States of America, set forth the following affirmations.
Christian Hancock. Section 1. Local people in family of man and woman, centered in Almighty God, live on local land and use right-of-way in people jurisdiction and grace affirmed by the authority of the unanimous Declaration of Independence, circa 1776, and Bill of Rights, Articles the 5th, 7th, 9th, 10th, and 11th, circa 1787 through 1791, revised 2010, and beyond the reach of predator others, and also living in friendship and in peace treaties, circa 1789 through 1791 and beyond the reach of predator others, and also affirmed by Article 7, General Provisions, Section 18, circa 1908 of Louisiana Constitution, and the Covenant of Louisiana, a free and independent state, circa 2022.
Caddo Parish is now a de jure parish on the land, meaning lawful by the people. We are now a lawful settled parish on the land of the people. That's That's it. Thank you. I have a copy.
All right, that take us to the next order of business. Mr. Clerk?
That brings us to visitors. We have no scheduled visitors today. Then we have next to adopt the regular session minutes, 7.1. Those minutes should be attached.
Okay. We have a motion by Commissioner Gage Watts and second by Commissioner Carlton Commissioner Gage Watts?
No, I don't have any comments.
Commissioner Epperson?
No.
Okay. Okay, we can vote? On the minutes, May 4th.
I'm sorry, Matt, it didn't come up on the screen. We're still waiting for it. Stefan's machine is down.
Yes.
Thank you. Oh. That motion carries with 9 in support and none in opposition. Just for the record, unfortunately, Stefan's machine started updating. It's not actually not working, it's just installing an update right now. It should be back in service in a moment.
Okay, we can move forward.
Yes, sir.
Okay, that brings us to special resolutions, where we have 3 special resolutions. Unless I've been misinformed, I don't believe anybody's here today to collect those 3 special resolutions. They are attached, but I believe all are intended to be presented at another site. So I don't know if y'all want to take them up one at a time, or if you want me to.
Well, Commissioner Epperson?
One at a time. It's gonna move to in global all 3, but we can vote on them individually. Do you want to see?
I want to make a comment during the Memorial Day.
Okay, all right, we'll take them one at a time. Okay, motion by Commissioner Gage Watts and second by Commissioner Carpenter. Commissioner Gage Watts?
I'll pass.
Okay,
Thank you.
all right, Jeff?
Okay. Let's see, that first item is 8.1, a special resolution proclaiming Memorial Day in Caddo Parish. Would you like me to go ahead and read it
That'll be fine.
into the record? Okay. Proclamation for Memorial Day 2023, whereas since our nation's inception, brave men and women have given their lives to protect our freedoms and service to our great nation, and we have strived to honor their sacrifice through historic burial grounds and battlefields, memorials, and other tributes that recognize the fallen. And whereas in 1967, federal law declared that the last Monday in May is designated as Memorial Day, beginning in 1971. And whereas Memorial Day is a day of remembrance and celebration in honor of the heroism and valor of the members of the United States military, including the Army, Navy, Marine Corps, Coast Guard, Air Force, the Air Force Reserve, the Army National Guard, Army Corps of Engineers, Army Reserves, the Department of Defense, the Space Force, and more. Whereas the parish of Caddo pays tribute to the fallen, our veterans, and whereas on this day in our communities across the United States of America, we remember loved ones who have given the ultimate sacrifice as part of the ongoing conflicts, as well as those who fell during previous conflicts and war. And whereas on this day and throughout the year, the parish of Caddo joins citizens in their sorrow and pride for the fallen, and in giving thanks to those who made the ultimate sacrifice to keep our nation free. Now therefore be it resolved by the Caddo Parish Commission in due and legal session that it does proclaim the 29th of May 2023 as Memorial Day in Caddo Parish and commends its observance to all citizens, and that is signed by all members of the Caddo Parish Commission.
All right, Commissioner Epperson?
Yes, sir. Mr. Clerk, could you pass out those invitations, please? While the clerk is passing out, many of you know the advocacy that I do on behalf of our military and veterans throughout my tenure as a Caddo Parish Commissioner and beyond. It's always been my forte to emphasize to our community that Memorial Day is more than barbecues and going to the beach and car sales and mattress sales and furniture sales. It is so important that we recognize the sacrifices that have been made on behalf of this great nation. Even before whatever those individuals were down here speaking about the Constitution, there would not be any Constitution were it not for the Continental Army of the United States of America that was established June the 14th, 1775, even before the Declaration of Independence, even before there was a Constitution was in place. We shouldn't ever forget the sacrifices that was made on behalf of this great nation and other places within the world that were made on behalf of our military, all branches, and especially those that lost their lives in fighting for our democracy. So at this time, keeping in conjunction with which Memorial Day we know is Monday the 29th, the Veteran Celebration Committee during our 5th year, we will be hosting our Veterans Memorial Program at Bill Cocker Community Center, 4109 Pines Road, Shreveport, Louisiana, at 10 o'clock a.m., Thursday, May 25th. It's sponsored by the Veteran Celebration Committee, the Bill Cocker Park Advisory Council, Leonard C. Barnes American Legion Post 450, Pines Road Area Business Association, Incorporated. Our guest speaker will be none other than Senior Master Sergeant Kelvin Samuels, retired United States Air Force veteran and Assistant Director of Caddo Parish, has a wonderful message. We're also going to have a special poem that was written by our poet laureate, Poetic X, called American Battalion. The Barksdale Air Force Honor Guard will be there to make the presentation. We will go through the entire process of a military funeral and explain it in detail. Flag folding, plan of taps, the shot volley, and we'll explain to the audience there, because so many people attend the military funeral and do not understand what those procedures are. Also be held inside because it's more accessible to seniors and persons that has disabilities and may be wheelchair bound, whereas they cannot attend the ceremony at a cemetery based upon the terrain. It will be inside. And our process is all the individuals that come will bring a photo of their deceased and transition veteran, at least 8 by 10. We'll call that individual name out, as in John Doe, United States Army, World War II. That individual family member will march down the aisle. We present them with a rose. We will light a candle in memorial. It gives a personal aspect to it, and it has been a tremendous success in conjunction with the ceremonies that are held at our local cemeteries. I don't know what the procedures are, but you can call 318-925-0612. What will be going on at our Northwest Louisiana Veterans Cemetery this year? I understand they've had a personnel shakeup out there, so I don't know if word has been gotten up. I think the director is no longer there, as well as the long-term assistant administrator. However, you can check with them in other cemeteries and see what they will have going on relative to Memorial Day. The key factor is Memorial Day is a day that's set aside for honor and recognition of our military veterans that paid the ultimate sacrifice for this nation. Thank you.
Okay. Let me say that on the 25th, I will be out of town, but this seems like it's going to be a very, very nice, nice event. I know it's going to be in a nice facility. Just wanted to let you know that I'll be out of town on that day. Okay. Commissioner Carlton.
Yes, I would just like to piggyback off of what Commissioner Epps has shared concerning the Memorial Day. Keep in mind, this is a very difficult time for most members that have been in the military. And even as he was talking just a few minutes ago, my head started drifting back 20-some years ago, thinking about different things that I had seen and observed. Please, 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 let's keep the family members in your prayers, the children as well, because again, this is something that, even though it's Veterans Memorial, no one soldier, whatever branch he or she might be in, gets to that point by themselves. And there are some mothers and fathers as well. Thank you.
Okay. No one else? Let's vote.
All right, and that motion carries with 8 in support, none in opposition. That brings us now to the special resolution recognizing National Maritime Day.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Stephon Jones and second by Commissioner Atkins. Commissioner Jones.
I'll move to englobo special resolutions 8.2 and 8.3.
Okay, that's been moved and second to englobo 8.2 and 8.3. I'm sorry.
Move englobo and adopt.
And adopt. Okay, Commissioner Epperson.
In conjunction with Maritime Day, I don't know how many of you know the history of the maritime and the contribution that they've made on behalf of this nation during the war, carrying a lot of goods and supplies across the Atlantic to the European countries and the United Kingdom during the wars. A lot of them were destroyed. They were unprotected. Sometimes they did have escorts by Navy destroyers, but we should never forget the sacrifices that they made also. And I would urge you all, if you have the History Channel, if you would really look at the History Channel every day this month, they are playing segments of all of the wars, and from World War I up to where we are in Afghanistan. And you would see the tremendous sacrifices that was made on behalf of our military and by our maritime services also, providing support to those military. So let's not take these holidays for granted. They mean something. And we should all reflect back and ask ourselves, the millions of lives that were lost and sacrificed by our military, what would those guys and girls think about what's happening in this nation today, from Washington, D.C. to Baton Rouge, and yes, to this very chamber here today? Is that really what they lost their lives for? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner Epperson, and I always want to commend you for keeping us abreast and of the history and keeping us mindful of what this country has sacrificed, what the men and women of this country sacrificed for our freedom. Okay, that means that we can vote at this point.
All right, that motion carries with 10 in support and 2 absent. And that brings us to the next item, which is communiques and committee reports, and admin responses from information requests from commissioners.
Okay, get on the board for your communiques and committee reports. Commissioner Gage Watts.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to schedule an NGO appropriations meeting on Tuesday at 12 o'clock to discuss process, distribution, and a workshop for the NGOs.
Tuesday at 12 o'clock?
Yes.
And I'm sorry, that meeting, is that just for the committee? And the reason I'm asking is to make sure we get the appropriate room.
Yes.
Okay.
Just for the committee. That's it, Mr. President.
All right, Commissioner Epperson.
Ms. Montgomery, could you put that photo up I gave you, please, ma'am? Okay, I was watching the news the day before I came down, and there is a shortage in the United States of America of vital drugs, oncology drugs, drugs that fight cancer, diabetes, and a number of those items in the United States today. And I consider that as being appalling. I think we have a, what is it, Dr. Reddy?
Reddy.
Yeah, didn't you say your son used to work there?
He's a chemist there.
Yeah, I just don't understand how we could let this happen. It's up 30% from 2022. Average of 18 months for certain drugs. You go to the doctor now and get a prescription. There are drugs that are not available for life-saving ailments that our American people have. And some of the longest, shortest times are looking at being 15 years plus. I cannot understand that for the life of me, of this great nation, not being able to supply vital life-saving drugs to our citizens. That is highly unconscionable. And Mr. President, I don't know if this would be under the purview of the Public Safety Committee, but I would like to explore that opportunity to check with the medical persons here in hospitals, the persons at Dr. Reddy and any other facilities, and see if there is something that we can do to enhance the possibility of ramping up production of life-saving drugs in the state of Louisiana or the United States of America. So I would ask for that, so I will check on that. My second item is the Pines Road Area Business Association Incorporated will hold its monthly meeting Monday, May the 22nd, 6 o'clock p.m. at the Grace Point Church of the Nazarene. Our guest speaker will be Mr. Link Coleman of UL Coleman Properties. The public is welcome to come out and attend. Mr. Administrator, if you would, the Resilient Technology Park that we cut the ribbons on last year off Greenwood Road, if you could have someone to come down and give us an update as to where we are on the venture that I think is at AEP SWEPCO. It's putting in place, let us know where we are at that point in time. And also, I think I had asked for someone from the IDB board to be present and give us an update, and I hadn't heard anything. I think I got an email from Mr. Atkins stating he had lunch with McInnes. And so if you'd have McInnes to contact me if you want some information as to, the concerns, please let me know. That's all I have. Thank you.
Let me ask you, Commissioner Epperson, back on the drug situation there. I guess I may need to ask the administration who would be the appropriate person maybe to talk to, Dr. White, maybe Martha, or unless you have someone that you already know.
Yeah, let's start with Dr. White. Let's start with the persons at LSU Medical Center because they do drug research. And of course, we could call Dr. Red and see, get some personnel from that center, and of course, we'll check with our Police Jury Association and see if they may have anyone to recommend.
Well, I know they've been having issues in Congress over drug situations. Not wanting to bring in any drugs from Canada or other places to make them cheaper. So I'm sure that probably got a bottleneck there somewhere. Okay. With that, we have Commissioner Carlton.
Yes, I would just like to share that the Ombudsman School had a celebration of 17 young people who graduated, and I was the guest speaker for their celebration as well. And it was really enhancing to look at these young people and to see the family members that was there as well. I say that to say that we have a lot of celebrations and graduations going on right now. So let's just keep those young people in our prayers as they continue to matriculate toward whatever it is that they will be going forward. Also, Jeff, have we solidified the ARPA committee meeting date and time?
No, we are trying to plan about 5 different committee meetings right now, so we will send out that confirmation when we get the dates back. But just for everyone's reference, there are a number of committee meeting requests. So what we'll do to try to coordinate those for all of you is send a list of available dates so that you can check when works for you. So we'll send one scheduling request that has multiple requests for y'all.
Okay. Commissioner Carlson, the ombudsman program, where's the ombudsman school now? It used to kind of moved around.
It's the old Ingersoll Elementary School. It's on, what is that, Holtz, H-O-L-T-Z?
Holt.
Holt, yes.
Okay. All right. There's no one else. Ms. Clerk?
Okay, that brings us to the President's report. Did you have a President's report today?
I do not.
Okay, we'll move forward to, we have no public hearings on zoning ordinances or cases. And so we'll move on to public hearing on ordinances, where we do have one item today, and that's a public hearing for ordinance 6328 of 2023. That's an ordinance amending and reenacting Chapter 32, Article 6 of the Caddo Parish Code of Ordinances, repealing sections 32-52 and section 34-22 and the codes of Caddo Parish Code of Ordinances, and otherwise providing with respect thereto. This is otherwise referred to as the noise ordinance, and one that has been discussed recently in the Natural Resources Committee.
Okay. The floor is open for the public hearing. Those that are speaking for or against can come forward. Right now, I have only one here, and that's Mr. Damian Watts. Name for the record, sir.
Damian Watt. I'm here to speak today on behalf of LOGA and LaMoga. LOGA stands for is short for the Louisiana Oil and Gas Association. LaMoga is short for the Louisiana Mid-Continent Oil and Gas Association. Both associations are trade organizations in the state that represent. LOGA represents the independent drillers and also the service providers of the oil and gas industry, and LaMoga represents the major companies in all facets of the oil and gas industry in Louisiana and the Gulf of Mexico. And we appreciate the Caddo Parish Commissioners engaging with the stakeholders in this rulemaking process, which we feel fosters a collaborative environment and also constructive dialogue. So with that, we had a meeting. We attended the meeting last Thursday, and we aired out, we talked about, or attended to the board, all the issues that we had with the ordinance as it was written. And Commissioner Burrell offered a motion that gave us the ability to amend the ordinance as written in order to, number one, make it where you guys could serve your constituency and be also something that we could live with. So we walked out of that meeting with us turning the rewrite into you guys by June 12th, and for it to also make your, I believe, June 22nd agenda. And so we ask that you actually, that works out in our favor, that the delay actually occurs, and that we have the ability to continue with the rewrite. But one thing I also wanted to add is what we wanted to offer is to the Natural Resources Committee the ability to educate the commissioners, because sound noise is a very nuanced subject. No one's really an expert on it. And so what we would like to do is ultimately ask for an additional 30 days so that we can put on the commissioner, what we call commissioner education, and ultimately make everyone understand what's in the regulation. So. That's all I have.
We have our chairman of the Natural Resource Committee here, so you need to address that.
Well, I'd like, if I may, sir. Thank you, Mr. Watt. I'm just trying to understand what the request is, and we can work. Of course, we won't vote on this until it comes up here momentarily on the agenda. But are you asking? All right. So originally we agreed to have all comments back from you all by the 12th, by June 12th.
Yes, sir.
Is that date still good, or are you asking to push that date back?
I'm asking to push that date back to July 12th, plus or minus a day, depending on how the 30 days works out. Okay. I'm asking for an additional 30 days from the June 12th date.
And then if we, Mr. Chairman, if we do push it back to June 12th, pardon me, to July 12th.
July 12th.
You know, our next scheduled regular session would be August 3rd, because July is kind of a strange month. With respect to our meeting schedule. So that's fine. We'll take that under consideration. I'm certainly fine with it, but I don't know how my colleagues will feel. I'm willing to make that motion when this comes on the agenda. And we'll see if we can get everybody on board. So, but your purpose is to have a meeting with the Natural Resources Committee. The purpose in asking for this additional time is so you can have a meeting with the Natural Resources Committee and any other interested
commissioner or any other members who would like to learn about this ordinance and actually what sound is, and understanding the difference between decibel dBs and dBAs and how it's being enforced currently.
Okay. One other thing, Mr. President, if I may, and Mr. Watt, I see a lot of your colleagues in the room today. I just will encourage you all to not overdo the requests for changes. I mean, let's try to remember the spirit of the proposal that Mr. President made was that we would, find something that you all could live with, but wouldn't be far off, or as close to what we have now as possible. And I just want to reiterate that here while everybody's in the room.
Yes, sir. And I'm not one, as we talked about, I'm the one leading the effort, and that was echoed Tuesday in my meeting with all the operators in the area.
I know it'll be like herding cats, but thank you for
yeah, I'm doing my best.
I understand. Thank you, Mr. President.
All right, thank you. I don't see any other comments on that. Yes, sir.
That's it.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Is there anyone else to come before us as part of this public hearing? If not, the public hearing is closed. Mr. Clerk?
Okay, that then brings us to, so we have no zoning items for final passage today, so we'll go on to ordinances for final consideration, which is, there you'll find the ordinance that we just had a public hearing for, ordinance 6328 of 2023. That is an ordinance amending and reenacting Chapter 32, Article 6 of the Caddo Parish Code of Ordinances, repealing Sections 32-52 and Sections 34-22 of the Code of Ordinances of the Caddo Parish, and otherwise providing with respect thereto.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to make a motion that we delay this item until the August 3rd regular session to allow the industry time to collaborate on a possible solution and educate commissioners on the topic. Thank you.
Motion by Commissioner Atkins, second by Commissioner Jones. You understand what the motion is? Commissioner Epperson.
I'd like to make a substitute motion that included in this delay the resolution, I think number 49, that this body passed relative to a number of other issues regarding oil and gas drilling issues. If I can get a second.
You get a second? Oh, okay. Okay, it's been moved and second to amend the motion. Motion by Commissioner Epperson and second by Commissioner Coughlin. Okay, Commissioner Epperson.
While I'm speaking, I'd like to ask the clerk if he would pull that resolution so I can make sure that it's in the record and passed out to everyone. Actually, ladies and gentlemen, and my fellow colleagues, I think this noise ordinance is a delaying tactic. It's a scam. It's nothing that really addresses the issues of all the concerns relative to the oil and gas drilling industry that have woefully been heaped up on our citizens. Noise, dust, mud, odors, leaks, environmental degradation, destroying habitats of animals, no follow-ups once the drilling is completed. And the young man was mentioning about noise. How in the devil can you educate me about decibels if I'm laying down at 3 o'clock in the morning trying to sleep and something is keeping me awake? You know, what can you educate me about that? You know, nothing but a delaying tactic. And all the while that we doing all these delays, guess what? They steady punching holes and drill. I just got a call before I left this morning out of Western Hills Estate about the noise. We need to address those other issues. This is nothing but a scam. It's just a delaying tactic. I got footage here from 2 o'clock in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning, from 2015. And if I get up and call one of those numbers that's posted in front of those drilling rigs, I'm going to get a voicemail in Denver, Colorado, or somewhere. Or if somebody does come out, it's going to be at 10 o'clock in the morning and everything is subsided. This is a sham. We need to address those issues in conjunction with the noise. The noise is included there. If I got a situation with noise and I call at 3 o'clock in the morning, somebody should come out there immediately at that site and measure it then. It's not doing any good to come out there the next day. So let's quit playing these games, ladies and gentlemen. This is nothing but a delaying tactic causing so much inconvenience to our citizens. And we always come up talking about jobs and talking about the little, what you call these things, little royalties you get, $20, $30 every 4 or 5 months. leasing bonuses gone down $1,500, You know what I mean? Pipelines running everywhere, compressor stations, pop valves, leaks. There have been 3 leaks that have not been publicized that people think we don't know about. It's dangerous. How close are we drilling to our water supply? I got photos of the drilling site just north of Santa Monica where I see all of the oil and some kind of chemicals mixture in the draining water that's going down to the drainage ditches. Nobody will address that. Nobody will come out. The media goes to sleep because I guess, you know, I see who sponsors the 10 o'clock news, the sand folks, the car dealerships. What do they run off of? This is a scam, ladies and gentlemen. We need to seriously adopt all of those issues that this body passed. In the last meeting we had, Mr. Chairman, that's why I didn't come to that meeting. Patrick Rayleigh, well, tell Mr. Epperson we'll address those. I hadn't heard nothing since. So I will be voting for my substitute resolution. And if that other one make it, I'll be voting against it, and any other thing I'll be voting against as it relates to drilling, because they are not being forthright with us. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Atkins.
Mr. President, thank you, Mr. President. I would just like to get clarity on Commissioner Epperson's substitute motion. Is he proposing that we adopt the August 3rd date, but also include his previous resolution that passed a year or so ago?
All of those issues to be seriously addressed in conjunction. And noise is included in that. Same thing, it's included in that. And before we leave, Mr. President, I would like for that resolution to be read into the record here publicly, so that people will know what we are talking about. Noise is included in that also.
Okay, that would be, assume after we approve the amended motion.
Well, I think I still have the floor, don't I?
Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner.
I think in order for us to correctly vote on it, we have to have it read first, and then we can vote. So it needs to be read before we vote on it.
Right.
Because just saying article, whatever it was, we don't know what that is. That's been years ago. We need to hear what it says, and then to say that we want to adopt it as part of the motion or not.
Okay, I'm thinking I'm saying the same thing.
But you said
are,
the vote,
that we
the
make.
vote, and
Yeah,
then
we-
read.
after.
You said to read after we vote. We need to read it before we vote.
Right, so it'll be, yeah, everybody will know.
Well, all right, so
Okay,
may I finish my,
Commissioner- yes, sir, Commissioner
floor?
Atkins.
All right, so I realize we've already passed that resolution that Commissioner Epperson would like attached. I think that greatly complicates the situation that we're trying to address. I mean, just to incorporate the resolution is one thing, but to demand that all those issues be addressed by this date, that's unsurmountable, I'm afraid. So I'll be voting against Commissioner Epperson's substitute motion.
Mr. Chairman, may I directly address him with that, because it's relevant to what he said?
Okay.
Okay, the date this resolution was passed over a year ago. Patrick Rayleigh said he was going to address it in our last meeting. They've had opportunities. It's down there, wherever it's supposed to be. They just ignored it. So I disagree with that.
Okay, Commissioner Atkins.
Well, the resolution has already been passed. We have grounds to encourage compliance with that resolution already in place. We don't need to complicate this issue with that issue, with all due respect to Commissioner Evans.
I disagree because noise is in that resolution also.
Okay, we're not going to
Okay, I'm done.
go back and forth. Commissioner Chavez.
Thank you, President. Is there a substitute motion on the floor right now? Okay.
There is. I think we should read this first and then we can discuss, because that's the last one that was made.
I don't think I can make an additional substitute motion, so I'm not going to, but I was going to ask if we can delay this because we need to digest this first because there's some issues on here. The fact that we were going to vote on something before we even reading it. Something that I'd like to find out. Dr. Wilson, can you get with Bossier Parish? I know in this, we're looking at, they've commissioned a study on this ordinance 6328. Bossier Parish has commissioned a study as well on the noise. Can we see if we can get their study back before this gentleman's expiration date so that we can form an educated decision on what Bossier Parish, because it's the same regs. So I'd like to get that study back. We have it in this writing where it says, whereas Caddo and Bossier Parish together constitute a regional area of Caddo finds it prudent to update its noise ordinances, and then it says Bossier Parish, Caddo's original partner in the noise studies that led to this, has recently commissioned a new study. When are we going to find out the findings of that study? I'd like to have that if we can before that July 12th date that he's asking us to delay to. And then, Commissioner, since I can't make a substitute motion on a substitute motion to delay this, I'm sorry, Commissioner Epperson, I'll be voting no to add this so that we can focus on the original ordinance at hand for the month delay that Lamoga is asking us. That's all. Thanks, President.
Okay.
That's it.
Commissioner Young.
Thank you, Mr. President. My understanding of the resolution that we passed, Resolution 17 of 2022, was that it mostly concerned areas of oil and gas extraction which are beyond our authority to regulate, and that's why we addressed it to the Department of Natural Resources and Office of Conservation. Is that your understanding also, Attorney Frazier?
Yes.
So, given that many of these items are beyond our authority to regulate, but that noise is not beyond our authority to regulate, it seems to me just sensible to limit ourselves to what we can actually do. So I'm going to vote for the original motion. Thank you.
Okay. We have a substitute motion. Commissioner Johnson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I think we're making comments before you actually read Resolution 17 of 2022. I don't know if y'all read it a long time ago and forgot about it, but I mean, there's not that much on here that sticks out too bad other than probably number 4. And that's dealing with no fracking or noise generating activities between the hours of 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. They're organized subdivisions within 2 miles of a drill site. But basically saying that they need to have signs so that they know the name of the drilling company, the location of the well, the name of the well site, address of the home office, emergency phone numbers, that any transmission, distribution pipelines, and other pieces of equipment be identified and labeled, that the drilling company should meet with the residents, the entrance roads should be overlaid to mitigate dust. Got the noise on number 2, and where the wellhead should be placed as a minimum for areas of the property lines of residents. I mean, it's not like you're saying that, you know, okay. All right, so you got some other stuff on here, but some of these is very doable and not really outstanding. So I think, you know, let them look at this. Let the gentleman here look at it and see if it can be done within the time frame and worked out before we actually make this vote, because it could be something that's doable that might be already in the plan. I don't know.
Well, let me inject this. I said in the meeting, and we made an agreement with them that they will take the ordinance that we have, go back and try to make it palatable between them and ourselves. And I may suggest also, as we said before, it's going to be a hairy issue anyway. This has been brought forth. We voted on it and passed it. So I would suggest that you also look at this, because this is not going away. They have not addressed this, according to Commissioner Epperson, in full faith, as he said, but it's still going to be an issue. So if it's something that you can do in conjunction with this, as Commissioner Johnson said, maybe something that you can incorporate by the 13th. We don't know, but we did make an agreement with you at the committee meeting that we will work with you on the resolution that we had. So based upon that, this was put forth as a substitute motion, and we can vote it up or down, you know, at this juncture, and then allow you to do what we committed to earlier, but also you can address this too without having it being a part of
The formal resolution.
the formal
Or the
resolution.
formal ordinance.
So that would be my suggestion from the chair. Okay, we can vote on the
I'm
substitute
down.
motion.
I'm down.
Commissioner
Close.
Epperson.
Lamoga and Moga, whoever it was, they was here speaking against it. They're familiar with it. They received it. What his name? Paul Pratt, and some dude from Lafayette, from Mocha, or whatever the thing is. You know, they were here. DNR. They have this, but they just blatantly disregarded it. So this is relevant and germane with this ordinance. Plain and simple. And noise is indicated in here.
I agree, it's relevant.
Okay, it's relevant.
Yeah,
It's there. You're not changing. It's a formidable addendum to this ordinance. They are aware of it because they came up and spoke against it. They all are aware of it.
Okay.
Thank you. So let's vote in favor of my substitute resolution, and we'll keep moving.
Commissioner Atkins for the second time.
I'll just point out that that many of these things have been done and are done regularly. Many of the things outlined in resolution number 17 of 2022. I think that the industry is probably opposed to one or two of them, but most of them they comply with on a regular basis, and I expect they'll continue to comply with. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we have a substitute motion to add the resolution 17 to this. We voted up or down. But as I said, we had made an agreement that we would work on what came out of the committee at that time. In the end, I'm suggesting to them, because this is a hairy issue, to also go back and include this by the 13th. Commissioner Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I guess I came in on the tail end or in the middle of this process. We're trying to understand our process. So what are we doing? What are we voting on, and what would it
Would
be?
you like me to give a recap of the motion on the
If you
floor?
would.
Okay, so there was initially a motion to postpone this item to the August 3rd meeting. I don't know if you had the discussion from the Natural Resources Committee meeting last week, but they had discussed a different date. Then they had some additional feedback. A motion was made to postpone this until the August 3rd meeting. And then a substitute motion was made to incorporate Resolution 17 of 2022, which is the one that was distributed and that has been discussed in the last few moments. It also pertains to oil and gas drilling.
Okay. And so Commissioner Epperson's motion is simply to add this into it.
As I
I
understand.
can answer that, sir. If you like me, I
Mr.
answer
President.
that.
Okay, now, again, I'm just trying to make sure that we are following the procedures. This is second or third time, Madam Chair. Third. Okay. We can do it third time.
Yes.
Okay.
If you allow.
I want to go ahead on and try to resolve this and move this.
I'm just
on.
asking
I'm
a
just
question.
trying to
I still got the
clarify
floor.
my motion.
I just asked a
Okay,
question.
since he
Just
was
a second.
second.
Just a second. Commissioner Jackie still.
Yeah, I still wanted the floor. I just was trying to get clarification on what our process is here. So if you could let him answer.
Okay, you want to answer his question?
Mr. Jackson, we passed resolution number 17, February the 15th of 2022.
Right.
Loga and Lamoga or whomever it was, the industry was here, they spoke against it. The resolution passed.
Okay.
They've had a subsequent meeting relative to just noise. Noise is one of the issues that is articulated in this resolution. I made a substitute motion to add the resolution 17 for their articulation and debate and discussion and giving us some answers in addition to delaying the noise ordinance till what, August, whatever it was. Plain and simple.
I got you.
Everything in
Yeah.
place, everyone's informed.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
That's why I wanted clarity, because what I hear Commissioner Epperson doing is saying, add this. He doesn't sound like he's objecting to the motion to postpone. And so I don't see any issue with adding this information in, if this is what's now on the table, adding this into it, amending this basically into the ordinance, or attaching it as a rider or something to the ordinance and giving them their due diligence. It sounds like he's trying to give them as much due diligence and research as possible. So I
Point of clarification, if I may, that may help us all.
Okay.
Is Commissioner Epperson asking that that it just be read into, it's attached to and included into this ordinance for consideration and comment, or is he proposing that it be that requirements are made with respect to resolution number 17?
So I still have the floor. I mean, regardless, it's already been approved.
Yes,
so it doesn't matter at this point. So it's already been approved. So we would just be ratifying. So I think that, to me, and I'll release the floor after this, this has already been approved. Adding it in is of no consequence, because it's not going to be repealed. Even if we don't approve it as amended, this has already been approved by the Parish Commission, and so it's just a request.
Well,
so
that is my whole point when I said that we had an agreement that we would work with them on the resolution, what is that,
6328.
Ordinance 6328, to try to hammer out a solution on that. And I also told them, since this is already passed, to go back and address this.
Right.
If they have not, then hopefully we won't complicate the situation. And then if they don't, then we still have the opportunity to vote it down.
Right.
So I'm just trying to keep it from complicating what we had agreed upon before. That was my input on that.
Sounds fair to me.
Attorney Frazier.
Commissioner, it's my understanding, because this was a resolution that was sent to the Department of Natural Resources that has the authority to regulate those things with the exception of noise. This is not something that can be incorporated into our ordinance. Now, they can incorporate it and address it when it comes for discussion, if they have the meeting with the Natural Resources Committee, but this will not be made a part of the ordinance. So, Commissioner Epperson, is it my understanding that you want them to address these issues at, and discuss them at the next Natural Resources Committee?
No, I'm plain and simple. I know you can't
Okay.
put that in an ordinance. That's a resolution.
I'm-
But what I'm saying is, they were here. They spoke against the resolution, have not given us any direct response whatsoever in over a year. And all we're doing is delaying them on their ordinance, the noise ordinance, but just adding on that you come back and respond to us in reference to resolution number 17, that's over a year and a half old, that you have totally ignored.
Well, I'm understanding from from our attorney that those are two different issues that we need to, I mean, they are related, but they're two different. You explain again. That's what
Commissioner, it's perfectly acceptable for them to come back and address them in a meeting. However, they will not be written into the ordinance.
That's what I'm understanding too. So we will not be including that in this resolution, because you can't do it.
In the ordinance. You don't include in the ordinance.
You can't include it in the ordinance.
You
but
just,
that's what
and
we
ask
requested.
that when they meet relative to the ordinance, at the delayed time we gave, that they would address those issues in the resolution also.
Well, that's what I asked them to do. I think, I said the same thing, basically.
Okay, well, let's vote on it then. Everybody vote in favor?
That's what I'm trying to get to, Commissioner Epperson. Commissioner Gage Watts, you have any comment before?
call for the question on all discussion.
Okay, call for the question. Motion by Commissioner Gage Watts, seconded by
Me? Commissioner Johnson.
Commissioner Johnson. Okay, let's vote.
This is voting on the question, sir?
On the
Call for the
question.
question. And that motion carries with 11 in support and 1 absent. That brings us to the substitute motion, which is to delay the item to August 3rd, I believe, as well as incorporating Resolution 17 of 2022.
This is the substitute motion.
Right.
Yes, this is the substitute motion.
Okay. All right, been, motion by Commissioner Epperson and seconded by Commissioner Coffin. Let's vote on the substitute motion.
All right. And that motion carries by, well, let's see. There's 6 in support, 5 in opposition to postpone. So yes, that does carry. I'm sorry, I was just wanting to make sure I had enough votes. Now, you'll remember, in order to adopt a resolution, an ordinance, you would need 7, but in order to postpone, I believe it's a simple majority.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Where are we, Mr. Clerk?
That brings us to zoning ordinances. We have none today for final, oh, I'm sorry, that was zoning ordinances for introduction. And we also have none today. So we do have ordinances for introduction by title. And if you'd like, I'll go ahead and read those into the record.
If you will.
Okay, introducing ordinance number 6317 of 2023 is an ordinance amending the budget of estimated revenues and expenditures to appropriate funds for a Caddo Community Lighthouse pilot project and otherwise provide with respect thereto. This comes from the Long Range Planning Committee. The next item is the introduction of ordinance number 6329 of 2023. That's an ordinance amending the budget of estimated revenues and expenditures for the capital outlay and the oil and gas fund in the amount of $140,000 to provide an appropriation for the rehabilitation of the Village of Austin's water standpipe and otherwise provide with respect thereto. The next item is the introduction of ordinance 6331 of 2023, an ordinance to authorize the purchase of property located at 4862 Dixie Garden Loop Road in Shreveport, Caddo Parish, Louisiana, and otherwise provide with respect thereto. This item comes from Public Works and is located in District 4.
Point of order, Mr. President. I believe on the vote we took a minute ago, that should have been 7, because then we should have come back and if that failed, which it should have had 7 to pass. We just. I just want to be sure. I just want to be sure.
I thought that the motion to postpone needed 6 to pass.
Majority.
And then it received 6.
Be
So
sure.
had it failed, it would have gone back to the original motion, which would
That's
have
what I
been to
wanted to be sure
adopt, which I'm sorry, was also to postpone to a date certain.
Okay, thank you.
So yes, but I appreciate you pointing that out because I'm sure.
Okay, so we're in order now? Okay. All right, that was it, Commissioner Hopkins?
Yes, sir, that was it. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Clerk?
Okay, so we just bring ourselves now to the work session minutes for adoption. Those are attached on your agenda.
Okay, there's a motion by Commissioner Johnson, a second by Commissioner John Paul Young. Commissioner Johnson? On the minutes? None? Okay. All right, let's vote.
All right, and that motion carries with 10 in support, none in opposition, and 2 absent. That brings us now to resolutions, where Resolution 23 of 2023 is a resolution urging and requesting the Louisiana Department of Transportation and Development to select a location north of exit 245 on I-49 near Ida as the location of the proposed visitor information center and otherwise provide with respect thereto.
Motion by Commissioner Jackson, second by Commissioner Atkins. Commissioner Jackson?
No, I'm good.
Okay, Commissioner Atkins?
I'm good unless Commissioner Hopkins wants to take that slot.
We talked about it on Monday.
Okay, let's vote.
All right, that motion carries with 10 in support, none in opposition. And that brings us to Resolution 24 of 2023, a resolution to authorize the Caddo Parish Administrator to request and authorize the Louisiana State Mineral and Energy Board and the Office of Mineral Resources to accept nominations and advertise for oil, gas, and mineral leases, accept bids, and award and execute oil, gas, and mineral leases on certain mineral interests owned by the Parish of Caddo and otherwise provide with respect thereto. This is in District 9.
Motion by Commissioner Jackson, second by Commissioner Johnson. Commissioner Jackson?
Yes, I'd like to global resolution number 24 and resolution number 25 at this time.
Second.
Okay.
Global and adopt.
A motion to global and adopt by Commissioner Jackson, second by Commissioner Gage Watts. Commissioner Epperson?
I'm voting against both of the leases. I'm gonna let you know that. I don't wanna put this on the citizens anymore.
Okay, let's vote.
Okay, and that motion carries with 8 in support, 1 in opposition, and 3 absent. That brings, we have no old business today. We have no new business before you today. So we are now at your second communication committee reports.
Get on the board for your final communiques.
And just, I'm sorry, before y'all start, I did just want to note, we do traditionally have a second period of public comment on there, and it was inadvertently left off the agenda. So
Do we have any?
I've not received any requests.
Okay. Communiques and report, Commissioner Chavez.
Thank you, President. Commissioner, I don't know if you know this, but Robert Superman Blunt, he's putting on the annual Optimum Classic this weekend on Saturday. So we're one of the major sponsors. So it's a huge impact to this community. It brings people from Italy all over, professional IFPB pros. I think maybe Dr. Wilson may give us an appearance out there and flex for everybody. But if you guys are free this Saturday, it would be worth your while to go down there and support this cool endeavor. Thanks, President.
All right, is there anyone else? If not, Mr. Clerk?
We do not have any additional comments.
Move to adjourn.
Adjourn.